Hello and welcome to Scene on 7. I'm Tom Magner and I'm sitting in the hot seat for Steve Brennan, who's recovering from a bout of illness. We wish him a speedy recovery. On this week's programme, our reporters are all at sea riding the crest of the wave at Queen Mary's Sailing Club in Ashford. Tony O'Rourke serves behind the counter at the Spastic Society shop in Slough, saying thanks to their volunteers. We join forces with Tango 30 in the search for speeding motorists. And knights of old challenged the weather to a duel at the Slough show. Meanwhile, in the studio, we check out Spelthorne Festival and a leisurely summer ahead in Hounslow. Now, if you're a sailor, you'll know the feel of a bracing northeasterly or the rush of spray through the hair. However, it's hardly the sort of seafaring experience that you'd expect to get in landlocked Middlesex, at least 50 miles from the nearest coast. Or is it? Prepare now to hear tall tales of daring do as our reporters Patricia Mitchell and Simon Brandt plot a course for the Queen Mary Sailing Club in Ashford.
Hello, welcome to the Queen Mary Sailing Club here in Ashford. We've come along to their open day, but we've also come along to find out a bit about what you can expect to find should you come along to the reservoir. I'm going to be trying out the windsurfing.
And I'm going to be turning my hand to a little bit of sailing, which I've never done before.
We'll catch up with you later. Colin, you're the Commodore here down at Queen Mary's Sailing Club. What does that actually entail?
Commodore is the title used at a sailing club. It really is a chairman of other clubs, I suppose. Traditionally, sailing clubs use naval ranks to denote the officers. You have a Commodore and Vice Commodore, two rear Commodores, and then normal committee. So it just means chairman, really.
So what do you enjoy the most about the sailing club environment?
The main thing I enjoy is the sailing. We've got some really smashing sailing here. And it's a nice friendly club. We've got good clubhouse facilities where people can come and have dinner or lunch, and all this within distance of London, where you really forget that you're near London actually when you're here.
How many members do you actually have here?
At the moment we've got about 1,200 members. A little bit down after the last couple of years of economic recession, but it's picking up again now. So we're quite a big club really, one of the biggest dinghy clubs in the country.
Going forward, what sort of projects have you got lined up for this year?
Right, this year we've got quite an exciting range of projects lined up. We've just had 6 new youth boats arrive, which was granted to the RWA region, of which we're part, by the Foundation for Sports and Arts. So they're here for the youngsters to sail. We're just making a major expenditure on upgrading the clubhouse, as one tends to do all the time. New roof, new heating system going in, etc. We've got new rescue boats and that coming along, which of course very important. We've got always professionally manned rescue boats on the water when people are sailing, so we don't get any problems with safety.
This is what I love. I'm able to send Bubba out onto the water now. She has no control over this whatsoever. How are you feeling?
A little
Nervous,
bit
I think. Anyway, I'm going to go and get changed myself, and we'll catch Bubba out in the water in a second.
keep stable so far, and I've conquered my fear of sailing. can tell you.
God, here the lady comes us off. How was it?
Oh, I cannot tell you. It was brilliant. It was
God,
so
you look like you're about to
good.
wet your knickers. You're so excited.
It was wonderful. I never dreamt it would be so good. It was lovely.
Because to be honest, you were quite apprehensive, weren't
I
you?
was very frightened to start with, but I really, really enjoyed it. It was so much fun, just sailing it on.
Well, we're going to go and let you get changed and dry, and we'll catch up with you later, or rather, you'll catch up with me later.
We're going to be catching up with you next. Mark, you're divisional officer with Weybridge St John's Ambulance Brigade. Now, we're very used to seeing St John's Ambulance out and about at concerts and things, but what do you do with regard to water and water sports?
Well, really, it's most unusual, as you say. There's only 2 divisions in London with a boat, and that's us at Weybridge and Tideway, which do the lower reaches. We do a lot with Queen Mary Sailing Club, and no doubt you know that out on the river you get many rowing clubs and sailing clubs that request our attendance the same as other people. So we go out and play with them as we'd like and just look after them.
So what specifically can you do?
Most of the things we do on land in terms of resuscitation, but we also specialise rescuing people. If they get trapped near a weir, say, we can get them out. So our people have got specialised skills above the normal St John ambulance. They're specialised in rescue techniques. They have to have knowledge of the local water, and of course they've got to be able to swim well, which all of them can.
Anne, you're one of the instructors down here at Queen Mary Sailing Club. You're going to teach me a little bit about windsurfing. How is it to master the basics?
It's quite easy. I'll run through them on the board, then you can have a go on the water.
Okay, then.
It's quite nice to
Right,
do.
I'm all yours then.
Right, okay. Right. The first thing I'll do is go through the components of what.
We've got the rig here.
Yeah.
This is the rig. It's made up of the mast, sail and the boom. And you've got the up pull here. This is what you pull the rig up out of the water with. And this is your board. That's the front of the board. It's more pointed at the front.
The windsurfing area.
And then you've got the centre line, which runs all down the centre of the board. And this is where you keep your weight. Try and keep your weight over the centre of the board.
So that's where you jump onto
Yeah.
from out.
Yeah. Right, so you're in the water, put your hands over the centre line, pull yourself up onto the board, knees over the centre line, grasp the up pull for stability, stand up, and then just slowly pull it up out of the water, using your thighs, keeping your back straight. Hand over hand.
Then you take off.
Yeah.
It's worth finding out if I've been paying attention.
Okay, everybody who's taken part in the dragger boat racing, can they please step on in front of the clubhouse?
And my knees bent enough.
Yes, that's fine. Okay, do you feel comfortable?
Yeah, it's different when you've got water underneath you though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
He did brilliant. He's got sailing, didn't fall in too much, turned the board round, sailed in both directions. Excellent. He's level 1 RYA standard. Very good.
During the summer, the club is open 7 days a week, with late night sailing until 8 p.m. The rest of the year, the club is closed on Mondays and Tuesdays. For general sailing inquiries, phone Queen Mary Sailing Club on 0784 243 219. Courses are organised by Queen Mary Sail Sports for both windsurfing and sailing. Phone 0784 24 888 for more detailed information on courses.
Simon Brandt and Bubba Mitchell on the crest of a wave, having a splashing time. Personally, as a non-swimmer, I have the utmost admiration for anyone who takes to the water, not least my first guest, Ray Clift, windsurfing manager at the Queen Mary Club in Ashford. Welcome along to the programme, Ray.
Good evening.
You've converted from a footballer, in fact, haven't you, to a windsurfer? What made you make that change?
Yes, I used to play quite a bit of football in my earlier days, but I worked in the Middle East for quite a long time. When I got there, I thought I'd be playing football, and found the grounds were not really to my liking there, and water sports seemed much more accommodating with warm water and what have you, so I took up windsurfing. That was,
As part of the fun day that we've just seen a little bit about, the Royal Yachting Association Junior Windsurfing Roadshow was there. It's very much got a jet-set image, hasn't it, the sport?
you could say that, yeah, but if you come along to clubs such as ours, you'll see, you'll certainly see people there from 8 to 80. It certainly appeals to all ages. Unfortunately, yes, it does sometimes have that jet-setting image to it, perhaps.
I imagine you need basically to be able to swim as a starter before you even start sort of trying to sort of do what Simon was doing and sort of precariously balance on the board on land and then get in the water.
Well, funnily enough, swimming is not necessarily a bottom line. What we look for really is water competence, although the RYA, the Royal Yachting Association, do recommend that you can swim 25 metres. But having said that, if you're competent in the water, you're not too afraid of the water. You do have your board there, so if you do fall off, we do supply people with buoyancy aids. You can climb back up on your board again, and hopefully you're quite safe again then.
But I would have thought the ability to swim has surely got to be the ultimate indicator of competence. I mean, I'm a non-swimmer. I would regard myself as totally incompetent in the water.
Yeah, I would say, as I say, the RYA do recommend 25 metres, and I would prefer someone to be able to swim that sort of distance anyway. I mean, I'm not a terribly strong swimmer myself, but yeah, I can certainly swim to get back on the board. But the board is a good buoyancy aid. That's a thing to remember, which is quite vital, really.
You're half persuading me. Yeah. Now, you've been a windsurfer for 12 years. You've been an instructor for 5. I mean, is it possible once you've got past the basic windsurfing to actually train and go on and be an instructor?
Yes, the RWA national scheme actually lays out the learning process, and it starts off at a beginner at level 1 and works up to a high wind sailor at level 5. You need to be a level 3 sailor, which is in the middle of that scheme, to become a level 1 instructor, so you can teach beginners to windsurf. And as your own sailing ability progresses and your experience progresses, you can move up through the scheme to teach at higher levels, depending on what your interest is and how far you want to go in it.
And the RYA is, of course, the Royal Yachting Association.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Yes. And that presumably, does that mean that you can take that certificate and then go and go to another club if you say move home?
Yes, the RYA is a nationally recognised scheme, and if someone comes to our club and learns and does a level 1 course, then they can use that certificate to hire a board out at any other club. They'll normally recognise that as a level of competence that you can take a board out and bring it back again. Now,
of course, safety is of crucial importance. It's of great concern nowadays in the leisure industry. I mean, last September there was a very tragic incident involving the school children paddling the canoes off Lyme Regis. I mean, what assurances can you give people that come along to the club that safety is the top concern? Yes, unfortunately, 1 or 2 of these tragic accidents have given a lot of bad publicity to water sports in general. Windsurfing, generally speaking, has been a very safe sport up to now, and hopefully it'll stay that way. As far as our courses are concerned, we have a small number of people, normally no more than 5 people per instructor on a course. There are powerboats available for safety cover and what have you. We've never had any problems with courses. Every pupil gets a buoyancy aid. All safety precautions are looked after. We teach people how to rescue themselves for future events if they go off sailing on their own. As far as the club is concerned, all the time the club is open, we have professional rescue staff on duty, and they're all trained up to RWA Powerboat Level 5, which is a national recognised safety standard as far as boat rescue is concerned. Now, you're safely inland at the Queen Mary Reservoir. Is there not quite a difference between windsurfing and sailing at your club and then going down to the coast and trying it again off the coastal, in the coastal waters? Absolutely, yes. I mean, the conditions at our club
having 700 acres is very similar to the coast. But we do pride ourselves in the safety side of things, and the safety services are there. You have to be a little bit more careful when you go to the coast. You certainly have to select your location and the times you go. You have to be aware of the tides and the wind and weather. The wind can change, the wind changes directions, and it could give you all sorts of problems.
Now, you've got 1,200 members or thereabouts in the club at the moment. It looks like great fun from the experience Simon and Bubba had out on the water, and you've made it sound really interesting. You've almost persuaded me that I might even try this sometime, although I probably, in the cool light of day, I probably would sort of go back on that. But if there is anyone watching that would really fancy a go, I mean, are you open to new people?
Yes, you don't need to be a member of the club to come along and do a course. And if you've sailed before and you can show us you're competent on a board or in a boat, you can come along and hire by the hour. And you can, as I say, you don't need to be a member to come along and do one of our courses. So come along, please do.
Thanks very much indeed. Thanks very much indeed, Ray.
Thank you.
That's Ray Clift, who's the windsurfing manager at the Queen Mary Sailing Club in Ashford. Now, back on dry land, life, you know, never gets any easier for the men and women who tirelessly work for the good of the community. With increasing pressures facing charity volunteers nowadays, they need all the help they can get, whether it's making a small donation or, in the case of our next report, helping to run a high street enterprise. Tony O'Rourke has been behind the counter at the Spastic Society shop in Slough.
Roll up, come and get your silly hats here. Roll up, come and give us all your money. Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
What can I do for you? Pair of trousers?
Trousers, yeah. I've got to see what size. I don't actually know what size they are.
Right, hang on.
Would you measure them?
Inside leg measurement?
Yes, please.
Right, hang on. What's your inside leg?
31.
31. Perfect fit.
Right, sir.
If I don't fit, you can bring it back next Tuesday.
Right, sir.
Thank you. This week we're at the Spastic Society in the High Street in Slough, and this is Barbara Withy, who's the manager. Hello, Barbara.
Hello, sir.
Now, what's all this about? What's happening today? I'm coming in here and ruining your celebrations.
That's right.
What's it all about?
Well, it's Volunteer Week 94.
Yes.
And it's also D-Day and the Carnival in Slough, so we're joining in that with all the red, white and blue as well. And it's to thank all the volunteers.
So what sort of events have you got lined up for today in the shop?
We've got a party for our customers, and we've got some games for children as well.
Yes.
Yeah, and we've got a special offer for the customers who buy his grounds as well.
Right. And you've also got some celebs along as well. You've got Faith Brown coming in.
That's right, she'll be here soon.
Right, what's she going to do when she gets here?
She's going to serve some customers with it. Yeah.
Exciting. Can't wait. Thank you, Barbara.
Thanks, sir.
Ladies, you're all doing this voluntarily, are you?
That's right, yes.
Right, so what do you normally do when you're not doing this?
Nothing much. Most of us are retired.
Right, so you give up your free time to come and work in the Spastic Society shop for free?
That's right.
That's very commendable, isn't it? Yes, it is. Very good. And today you're all in. You're not normally all here together,
we're not
are you?
normally all in on a Saturday, no.
How's business been? Has it been brisk?
Yeah, not so much today, but during the week it is. It's very good.
Right, we're expecting more later on.
This afternoon. There you are, sweetheart. I don't know whether you're going to have something to put the money in, haven't you? Thank you. Oh, it's lovely. Well, I've got a lot of money now, haven't I? Haven't I? They are, sweetheart. Do you want my darling? Don't know who she is, but it's my young sister.
Faith Brown.
That is me, darling.
How's the business been today?
Great.
Has it been good?
Well, it's
brisk?
brilliant. Yeah, it's getting stronger. I mean, this Spastic shop is a fantastic shop. It really is.
Spastic Society shop.
Spastic Society shop. Sorry, smack your little wrist, Joe. Oh, well, I don't want to do anything wrong, do I, lovely? Not here, I don't. No, it's been great. It really is. And as I said, it's so good quality. I've been having a look around, and the quality is excellent as well. So if you want to bring any clothes around, I will be here, and I will take them off you. You know? No, I don't mean literally take them off you. I didn't realise what I said. They're all laughing in the background.
Right. You do quite a lot of work for charity.
Yes, I do. Well, I do as much as I can,
Yes.
Tony. But yeah, I mean, of course, I mean, I would like to do more, but I also have to work, you know, on my life already. I have to get me clothes, you see what I mean?
What are you going into next? What's your next project?
My next project is in Guildford. I'm going to be doing a play, Annie. You know Annie? Yeah, I'm going to play Miss Hannigan, the bitch, you know, the drunken, you know, she's quite a drunken lady, you know, and she ill-treats her orphans. So I really am looking forward to playing a bitch. Mind you, Len, my husband says I am anyway, so but I'm not. Promise, I'm not, really.
So,
Super.
so I've got something now. I think I've got something I want you to buy because I think
Really?
it really would suit you. Now, doesn't he look beautiful? It's only yours for £5, you know what I mean? I think it goes with the beautiful eyes.
I love
Especially the
you.
blue one. And I love you too.
Tell us how much money you paid. How much you paid?
Lots and lots of
Loads and loads. That's great. Did you make all these yourself? Very good. I like sticky bums. It's not always as busy as this, and Faith Brown's not here every day, but it is a very good cause. In the High Street in Slough, the Spastic Society shop. If you're passing, pop in.
Well, I say, love that wig, Tony, but I'm not so sure about the kiss. Tony O'Rourke causing absolute uproar in a good cause, though, as the Spastic shop in Slough say thanks to their volunteers. If you want to go along to the shop, it's at 119 High Street in Slough, and a telephone number coming up for you now, 0753 553 204. I'll just repeat that again, 0753 553 204. Still to come on the programme, the Slough Show, Spelthorne Festival, a leisurely summer of activities in Hounslow, and we catch up with the crew, Tango Tango 30, in search of speeding motorists. I'll be back after the break.
Ideal Home Superstore.
Whatever you're looking for to finish your house, look no further than the
Ideal Home Superstore.
In our giant store on the Bath Road, Sippenham, the choice just has to be seen to be believed. With interest-free credit on some items, this is the ideal place.
Ideal Home Superstore.
388 to 389 Bath Road, just off Junction 7. It's the ideal
Superstore.
I'm a real dummy. So if they ever let me get behind the wheel of a car, you know what I'd do? I'd never watch out for cyclists, or to cyclists, especially at junctions and roundabouts. Why should I care if they're more fragile than me, huh? I could also hit them when turning, or reversing, or just by opening my car door without checking in my mirrors first. I could behave just as badly on a bike. I'd start by not using my lights at night. Whoosh. Then, by riding as if I owned the road, I could intimidate pedestrians by cycling through red lights or riding on the pavement. Just as well I'm only a dummy, isn't it? Don't be a dummy. Consider the needs of others. Remember, you're not the only one on the road.
Welcome back to Scene on 7. Over the last 2 or 3 weeks, we've been following the continuing story of Ron Piggott, the bank manager from Langley, who's walking from Land's End in Cornwall to John O'Groats in Scotland to raise money for charity. He's just sent us a postcard. He's just reached Cheddar Gorge in Somerset. Look at it, absolutely wonderful. And he tells us that he's still going well and enjoying every day as he heads ever further northwards. He also added, by the way, to his postcard as a footnote, miles so far, 201. Blisters nil. That's the spirit, Ron. We wish him well and continue, of course, to bring news of him as the weeks progress. Now, while we're thinking about Somerset and places like that and holiday destinations, the time's fast approaching when many of us will be taking to the roads to get away from it all. But one thing you can't leave behind is a respect for the law. Amid growing calls for more realistic speed limits on Britain's roads, Thames Valley Police have been keeping an ever watchful eye on speeding motorists. WMtv has joined forces with the crew of Tango Tango 30 on the roads of Slough and Maidenhead.
Well, this Rover is, all intents and purposes, just looks like any normal Rover that you'd buy in the showroom, but the difference is that we use this rover for speed enforcement within the traffic department, and we've got varying gadgets. If I can show you, first of all, it's basically the same, no difference in the interior layout. We've got the radio, which we use for communication purposes, and then we move to the main gubbins on the which is a camera. The camera records what's going on ahead of the vehicle, what's happening. It's on all the time, and we can swivel the camera around 360 degrees if we need, so we can follow any vehicle wherever it should go. We can zoom in with the vehicle, so the vehicle, we can catch it, we can go in with it, we can zoom out with it with use of a mobile handheld device here. And it's also displayed on a screen which we will then use to play back to the person and show them what they've done, so that's on all the time. Also on the screen, it's linked to VASCAR, which is Visual Average Speed Computer and Recorder, which is basically a time and distance way of working an average speed. That will display onto the screen the date, the current time, the speed that the vehicle is doing constantly, and then when VASCAR's working, the distance travelled, the time travelled, and the average speed which we come out with. We then move to different other features on the vehicle. We've got a display sign on the back window, which is controlled by this box, which when we push it on, turns up into the window and displays various signs: police, police slow, and police stop, alternating between the two. And we can also display that to the front if we require. The video recorder, there's a video recorder stored in the boot, and that's turned on and off with this means of this handheld control, so we can play, record, just like a normal video recorder in anybody's house. We've then got flashing headlights and blue lights in the front, so there's blue lights which are displayed to the front by means of that device, and flashing headlights to assist us to get through the traffic. We've got rear reds, which alternate rear fog lights on the back, which is a warning device, and also a whale and a out device to help stop the vehicle. If you were to get stopped by it, you'd realise it wasn't just a normal rover. It's our enforcement and education vehicle. This car, it's called Tango 30, and it's for speed enforcement and obviously speed driver education. What we see is video recorded, and we then show to the driver and either report the driver or give advice and caution in whichever we feel is the most appropriate action. We can cover anywhere within our allocated areas. We're southern traffic, and from Taplow we will cover Slough, Maidenhead, Windsor, Ascot, towards Henley, Ivor. We've got a vast expanse, and also we've got the M4 and the M25. The majority of the public are totally surprised. As I said before, they're not looking for a police vehicle that doesn't look like a police vehicle. You'll get the ones that will immediately put their hands up, yes, and they realise that that's it at the end of the day, that they've been caught fair and square, and then you get the one that says, no, I wasn't. And then you pull him back to the passenger seat, you rewind the film and show him, and when he's picked his jaw up, he then says, yes, I was doing that, but they don't realise that they were doing it. And as you can appreciate, nobody likes having their driving criticised, no matter who you are. Everybody is the best driver in the world. But it's sheer surprise. I had a gentleman in a Jag on the motorway for speeding, and he was surprised, and he was very impressed with the quality of the film, saying how clear it was. But yeah, it's shock and amazement, I think, would probably be the easiest way of describing it. We'll join the motorway now, and undoubtedly we will pick up a speeding motorist. Just realised 102 miles an hour now, the speed limit is 70. He's getting slightly caught in traffic, which is going to be decreasing his speed, but we've got a constant gap between us. We're doing 96 miles an hour. So obviously at 70 miles an hour, he's well in excess of the required speed limit. We'll follow him along a bit further. I will be talking to him anyway, but when he clears his traffic, I have a feeling that he'll obviously get back up to the speed. Plus we've got bridges approaching, and I wouldn't wish to pull him on the hard shoulder, because to get back onto the motorway he'd have to counter the bridge, and it wouldn't be safe for him to rejoin the motorway. So we need to find a good safe space to stop him before we can do it. And we're now coming off at the junction. Basically the last minute thing. If he was coming off at the junction, we should have really been in further back there. This is a good place to stop in, and I'll illuminate the blue lights and indicate for him to stop. Let's now pull onto the hard shoulder. The reason I've stopped you, sir, I've been following you down the motorway, and your speed was registered 102 miles an hour at one point. Obviously the speed limit is 70 miles an hour. I have to caution you that you don't have to say anything unless you wish to do so, but what you say may be given in evidence.
I didn't go...
Do you understand?
Yeah, well, I'm positive I didn't go that fast.
What I'd like to show you, if I put you in my passenger seat, I've got a video camera there, and there's a speed device linked to the video camera, and I can show you exactly what you were doing. Right, that's your vehicle there, sir. Well, 102 miles an hour.
That's your speed?
Yeah, and I've just said to you, what I'm doing, I'm matching...
You're catching me.
No, hang on, no, you'll watch the speed decrease. I'm matching your speed. There is a constant gap between us. Never decreases nor increases. I will keep a constant speed. Right, we're down to 92 now.
Right.
Right. I'm not catching, I'm keeping the gap. Yeah, you're slow.
No, I think you're catching me.
Right, hang on. The speed is now coming down. We're down to 86 miles an hour. Okay.
You have caught me.
Yeah, I'm catching you up now.
Yeah.
I'm not disputing that, because
No, what I'm disputing is the 100 and
right.
whatever.
Let's go back. Let's go back and see if we can go back a bit further, and I'll point it out to you again. Right. 92 miles an hour, 93. No, I'm not disputing that. 92.
Yeah. That's what...
You're neither pulling away from me. Now you are, and I'm having to increase again. But for a short time, I'm not saying any length of time, but we got to a speed where that gap didn't increase, which was 102 miles an hour, which is what I'm pointing out to you.
Yeah.
Right, now you're beginning to get caught in traffic, and I'm obviously bringing my speed down accordingly with yourself. There's not such a great gap that there was. You know, obviously you're catching the traffic in front. We're still doing 92 miles an hour there.
That's the speed I thought I was doing.
Right, okay. You just admitted to myself that you're doing 92. Is there any reason why you were doing such a speed?
I was just basically going with the traffic. I knew I was doing over 80, but I didn't think I was doing much. But I never travelled much above 90, to be quite honest.
But obviously I've just proved that you did. I mean, the flow of the traffic, you say you were going with the flow of the traffic. You've caught the flow of the traffic up again. So the flow of the traffic is obviously going less than 90 miles an hour. Yeah?
Well, there was some cars outside. Like, I mean, you're there.
I'm there.
Yeah,
as I say, we're travelling along. The rough speed of the traffic is 78, 80 miles an hour.
Yeah, I held my hands up to the... Yeah.
And what I would also say to you, when you did come off at the junction, you left it rather late.
I wasn't going to get off here. I was going to actually get off at the next one.
Right.
I was unsure which... Yeah.
You've got to treat everybody else as an idiot, OK? You coming off late may well have somebody else not accounting for that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let you in. And next thing you know, you're spinning across the carriageway because we have an accident.
All right.
When you rejoin the motorway, can I get you to use the hard shoulder, build your speed up, and just then pull back out when it's safe to do so?
OK.
All right then, thank you, sir.
The smile for the cameras.
You can do that.
How do you actually feel about being stopped?
Well, he's doing his job, isn't he? I was speeding. I held my hands up to that. I disputed the 100 and whatever he said, because I think he was catching me up. But I held my hands up to the 92. I'm, just on the motorway. Personally, I think that's okay. 90 miles an hour. As long as you stay your distance and you can stop in time, that's okay. So, well, there you have it.
Basically, I've reported the driver for the excess speed of 92, which was the speed, which was basically the distance I covered was 92, which was the constant. I pointed out to him that he went to the 102, and the fact that if he does exceed 100, he does stand the possibility of getting a ban. I reported him rather than cautioned him. Obviously 92 is still fast, but he's got points on his licence which are from previous speeding offences, so obviously he's not learning from receiving tickets. And maybe the only way that that person is ever going to slow down is if the courts impose a ban, taking the privilege of driving away from him, and they might just sink home the financial penalty of losing a car, what that might do to him. Nobody likes to make people lose their driving licence, but if people won't learn, then it's the only way. So he'll be receiving a summons through the post to go to court.
So beware, the writing's on the wall. Thames Valley Police keeping watch on the area's roads. And you heard the speeding motorist saying that he thought a speed of 92 miles an hour was okay on the motorway. Well, that's a theme which the Institute of Advanced Motorists would have some sympathy with, although they wouldn't go to the extent of condoning speeds in the 90s. They're campaigning at the moment for an increase in the motorway speed limit. They basically want to see it raised from 70 to 80 miles per hour. The message from the Chiswick-based institute is that it's not just speed that kills, it's doing the wrong speed in the wrong place at the wrong time. A change of mood now, though, as we go from the roads and we return to more leisurely activities and to our leisure theme for this week's programme. We look forward to a summer of fun for all the family. And that starts on Saturday the 18th of June with the Spelthorne Festival. And a warm welcome to my next guest, the District Council's Client Services Officer, Paul Marshall. Welcome, Paul.
Thank you.
That title's a bit of a mouthful. Perhaps you could take us through in plain terms what this first ever community festival involves. After all, you've run arts festivals for some years.
Yes, we've done an arts festival in Spelthorne for some years and run a number of events throughout the year. And it was decided that instead of spreading it throughout the year, we'd actually into one week and extend it to all the community, so that not only were arts events organised, but also sports events as well, and fairs, fetes. We begin on the 18th with the carnival, and we will, as the council, we've actually taken a float in the carnival, so we'll be exhibiting ourselves down the high street in Staines on that. And the idea is to open it for everyone. We have tea dances at the age concern centres, as well as a teddy bears picnic for the mothers and toddlers groups. So it's...
Yeah, the Teddy Bears Picnic, in fact, was one of the events that WMtv will be covering
yes,
as and when they unfold. But you seem to be suggesting that all of the events are outdoors. And should you really trust the great British weather?
Well, that is, of course, a concern. The two major events that are outdoors are the 19th of June, the Sunday, which is the Teddy Bears Picnic, and the 25th of June, the following week, which is the Medieval Fair. I think anyone who actually knows anything about the British weather will know that it's something you can't bank on. I mean, you've seen days where you get bright sun one day and it's pouring with rain the next. Anyone who's involved in those events has to take a chance. We did consider it pretty carefully, but decided you can't hold those sort of events indoors. There's no arena big enough in the area.
Now, the Medieval Fair, I have just got to ask you, the Grinny-Gogs are on the front cover of the latest council's information bulletin. Who are they?
Everybody wants to know, what is a Grinny-Gog? Somebody tell us. On the front of the bulletin, we actually did publish a picture. The Grinny-Gogs are medieval strolling players. They put on a playlet through the afternoon, and that's called the Ship of Fools. And that will be one of the main events during the afternoon. They actually perform it twice. They also sort of will mingle with the crowds, the millions and multitudes of people that will obviously be there. There's fire eaters, there's sort of musicians, that type of thing. That is what a Grinny-Gog is.
Thank you very much indeed for that. Clearly you're intending this as to be great fun and a variety of events. But to what extent is it promoting the council itself?
Everything that we've done for the festival has been through a council group that was set up to actually organise it. What we've done is we've promoted it to all the local groups, and although we've put it into the festival and Spelthorne Festival, we have not taken over from any of the groups. They all have their own involvement, their own events. It just happens to come under the Spelthorne banner, and it happens to be led by the council. It's not the council saying, you will do this, you will do that. It's saying, can we get a community feel within Spelthorne, put it all under one banner, the council is seen as a central point in a lot of cases, and we're using that as a focal point for all the activities.
But what about funding? Aren't the council tax Spelthorne going to be saying, you're wasting my money here? Why are you spending it on an event like this?
Well, we've tried it very, very hard. We have been given a budget, and we have decided that we must keep within that budget. You can liberally sprinkle money around and say we could lay on anything we wanted to do. We'd do trips to Concord for every resident in the borough if we had enough money. But we've tried very hard to keep it down. We realise that funds are limited, and we have to work within that budget. We've been lucky that the Twinning Committee, who work in Spelthorne, have also donated some money towards the actual cause, and that's helped the funds enormously. But we're lucky we've worked within the budget this year. We
British can be a bit apathetic sometimes about things, not just politics and serious issues, but also the lighter things. I mean, are you expecting, what sort of response are you expecting to this first ever community festival?
Amazing. Tremendous, amazing response. I mean, we have put out a lot of publicity. The Borough Bulletin you mentioned earlier, that went out to 37,500 households. We've had 10,000 leaflets published, which we've been giving out at the Elmsley Centre in Staines on the last Saturday, and we'll be there on the 11th. We've also done posters, flyers. We've put all of those out. A booklet, which is detailing all the events. We have gone to tremendous efforts to make sure it's publicised. We've written to, for example, the Medieval Fair, where we've got stall holders coming along for that. I've written myself, 700 letters have gone out to groups and organisations, both local and national. So I think it'd be a hard job if someone's missed out on it.
Are there lessons here for other councils, do you think?
I believe that it's something which every council should be involved in. I mean, it's a community thing. Councils are there to provide services for the public, and we believe we do that, and we believe this is another way of actually doing that. And we hope everyone will have a great deal of fun while they're actually doing it.
The key question, of course, is the future. Will you repeat the festival?
Hopefully, yes. But it does depend on, obviously, the success of it this year. It's impossible to say. No one would like to say yes, definitely. No, we wouldn't. We're keeping it open. We don't want to commit ourselves just yet.
Great. Thank you very much indeed, Paul, for coming on the programme this evening.
Thank you.
And today. Right, so that is Paul Marshall. He is from the Spelthorne District Council, and that's all about the festival. If you want more details, you can call the festival hotline on 0784 451 499, and you can make a note from the screen. It's coming up now. And indeed, we'll repeat it again, 0784 451 499. Well, you probably don't need me to tell you that the trouble with the English summer is, as I've just been saying to Paul, is you just can't rely on the weather. Something that the organisers of the Slough show have just found out. But of course, in keeping with the true British spirit, bad weather can't keep a good procession down. Sit back now and relax as we take you on a musical tour from newfangled stunt motorcycles back to the days of old when knights were bold and chivalry wasn't invented. The Slough show, good to see it rising above the weather. Well, let's hope summer turns out to be longer and brighter than the usual couple of warm days in February. I'm sure my next guest will be only too happy if the office seaweed shows him set fare for the weeks ahead. Hounslow Council's Director of Leisure Services, Howard Simmons, runs probably one of the busiest programmes of leisure activities in the area. Welcome to Scene on 7, Howard.
Thank you.
You have a difficult job, don't you, trying to balance everybody's needs, all those people saying, I want this, I want that. How do you go about that?
Yes, it is difficult, but it's great fun as well. Basically, we ask people really what they want, and there's a whole range of activities we provide, literally from the cradle to the grave, because we're responsible for children's play, swimming, swimming pools, museums, art galleries, right through to cemeteries. But basically, we're asking people what do they think of the activities we provide, what would they like to see, how can we improve, how can we change, how can we adapt.
Presumably you can't please all of the people all of the time. How do you set those, what are probably amount to funding priorities?
Yes, I mean, that's true, you clearly can't. Basically, we are very much responsive to people's interests. If people don't like something, they will vote with their feet. But we discuss, and the council's general concern is to make sure they're providing for all sections of the community. Basically, that means that we're looking for sections of the community maybe facing some level of discrimination or disadvantage. Perhaps people with disabilities, ordinarily left out, we will make provision for that section.
So what are the people of Hounslow telling you?
Well, we've actually had very favourable feedback, because apart from the detailed market research we do within the borough, we have an independent researcher who comes in and asks and looks at leisure provision in Hounslow compared with other boroughs, and very, very positive feedback about the type of provision we make, and some suggestions about other sorts of things that we could take forward.
There's a feeling nowadays that perhaps life is getting even busier and busier and busier and more stressful. Do you think we need more leisure?
I think that's actually very, very true. I mean, leisure time, some people have leisure time enforced upon them, perhaps because they're unwaged or unemployed. Other people, very stressful jobs, need to have time that is quality leisure time. I think it's absolutely essential, and that's true from whether it be a health point of view, in terms of fitness and exercise, whether it be just a quiet moment for a walk in a park or a nature conservation area, whether it be with the kids or a break from the kids when the kids can go to a council organised holiday play scheme. So I think leisure time, good quality leisure time, is essential for all of us.
Now, moving on to the sort of specifics, if we look at the couple of main areas really, and you've mentioned the kids and obviously probably the adults as well, because they tend to get roped in on this. What sort of specific things are you doing in Hounslow for the children?
Well, there's a range of activities throughout the year. We run after-school clubs after school time, during term time, but particularly with the summer holidays coming up, the holiday play schemes. And we run a range of those throughout the borough, particularly targeted some of the areas where you've got the high-rise housing estates. And we have a mobile play bus that goes and visits and takes the service to the people. That's for children from 5 to 11. Parents can come, but very often parents feel very relaxed and comfortable about their children being taken care of and taking events forward.
Right, so of course one of the other areas as well, instead of the children, is a highly controversial area nowadays, and possibly rightly so, those with special needs, the disabled groups. And what can you offer them?
Well, we try to make sure that, firstly, all our buildings are actually accessible so that people with a physical disability can get easy access. But secondly is the programming, and that's very important to ask people what they would like to see. We've actually produced a document which is available if anyone wants to ring in, which puts out all the activities for people with disabilities in the different centres that we have. And coming back to the children's play, we ensure that all our children's play activities through the summer are open for children who are both able-bodied and those with disabilities.
So, of course, one of the main themes that doesn't seem to be covered nowadays is there's a lot is focused on disabled people, but as being somehow different from the rest of society. Surely the approach should be that if you look after the disabled, everyone else can use those facilities. To what extent do you go along that road?
I think that's absolutely right, because where disabled people are either ignored or forgotten, then one, they're discriminated against, but secondly, you actually breed prejudice, suspicion and fear. So coming back, for example, to what I said, we try to ensure that all our buildings are open to everybody, and that means removing physical barriers to access. And then in terms of the provision, we try to ensure that we have a programme programme that brings them in and people can work together, both able-bodied and disabled together, and working together can learn from each other too. And I think the feedback we've had from people with disabilities is very positive indeed.
So what sort of highlights can we look forward to just across the whole spectrum in the next few months, next few weeks and months?
The summer is the very busiest period, and we're open for, most of our facilities are open 7 days a week, from very early in the morning right through till the evening time, 10 or 11 at night. There are a range of activities for all the kids. There's swimming activities, there's the bouncy castles, there's the play schemes, we've got circus acts, animals coming in for the children. We've got a whole range of theatrical productions. We've just had our festival. I was interested earlier in the talk about the other festival. We have our May Day Festival, which was very successful, working with community groups, and that brought in about 50,000 people. But we've got family fun days in several of our parks. We've actually got opera in the park at Chiswick House, a whole range of events, so a very busy programme for the summer period.
And you've got a leisure card for Hounslow residents. Does that mean that your facilities are only for people in the borough?
Oh no, our facilities are aimed particularly for people in the borough, obviously, but the leisure card gives a discount on price, up to 30% discount on pricing for any of the activities. And whether you're in Hounslow or not in Hounslow, you can buy a leisure card. You pay a little more if you're from outside Hounslow, but everyone's welcome to come and use the facilities.
Clearly there are one or two things about the service that perhaps you're not happy about, and people may not be happy about if they're contacting you. Do you think in 5 years' time you're going to have the absolutely perfect recipe for leisure activities in Hounslow?
No, I think we will always be learning, and in fact we welcome people's feedback, critical or whatever, and the praise too, but critical, so we can actually improve the service and carry on improving the service.
Thank you very much indeed, Howard, for coming on the programme.
Thank you.
Howard Simmons, who's Director of Leisure Services for the London Borough of Hounslow. And that borough's bumper crop of holiday fun brings us to a close on this week's edition of Scene on 7. I hope we've given you some food for thought when you fancy a bit of a break. Don't forget, if you've got any comments on this week's show, you can write to us at Scene on 7, WMtv, PO Box 7, Slough, SL3 6ET. My thanks to our studio guests and to everyone on the programme team. Steve Brennan will be back and raring to go again next week. Till then, from me, Tom Magner, and all of us on the programme, take care. See you again soon.